talking about socialization as a homeschooling family. It's a Q&A style video, just going over our experience with exactly that. And this is a collaboration with Shauna from Making Everyday Magic, as well as several other ladies, and I will link that playlist right down below for you guys and at the end of this video. So be sure to check out their videos as well. And if you're brand new here, I'd love for you to say hello in the comments so that I can say hello back. And let's go ahead and get into it. So for anybody that's new here, my name is Misty and I homeschool two girls. They are ages 5 and 8. And so we're still in the early stages of homeschooling. I've been homeschooling since my oldest was 3 years old, and we have like an eclectic style of homeschooling. Also, we do have city life, which obviously plays a factor into socialization and opportunities to socialize, all those kind of things. Those are the dynamics that you should probably know about before we start. So let's go ahead and get into the question. Also, as I stated, I live in the city. I have windows open because it's that time of year where the weather is great to have the windows open. You're going to hear sounds from the city. Question number 1, have you always homeschooled? Yes. So in the introduction, I explained that. Yes, we've homeschooled since my oldest was age 3. She is now 8. So that's about 5 years worth of homeschooling. She asked me to teach her to read at age 3. So we started then, and here we are 5 years later, still doing it. So that's how long we have homeschooled. And yes, it's always been that way. What are your fears surrounding socialization and your decision to homeschool? To be honest, there's not many fears around socialization. That wasn't a concern of mine anyways. We already led a social lifestyle. We have a lot of family with kids. We have a lot of friends with kids. We live in the city with a neighborhood full of kids. We have programs full of kids to attend. We have museums and all, you know, there's no lack of children or adults to socialize with. So I didn't really have a fear in that. The only fear I have is the normal ones that every other parent would have, such as helping kids navigate friendships and making sure friendships are healthy friendships and those sorts of things. So that's more of the concerns that, sorry, you're probably gonna hear a motorbike. I have a neighbor that rides a motorbike around a lot. So yeah, that's more of my concerns than actual socialization. How, in your experience, have those fears been true? So yeah, there's no problems with socialization for us. I feel like this could be a game, like do a jumping jack or a push-up every time you hear me say socialization. Stop. So lucky for me, there's nothing to beat. There's no fears that have came to fruition that are an issue. Like I said, it's just navigating very normal friendships. I don't know if I'm the best person to do this video, just in the sense that this isn't a problem for us. This is something that's always been easy. But also, like, for a lot of homeschoolers, that's the truth, okay? Kids are socialized whether they're homeschooled or not. The socialization might look slightly different, but it's not so different that's drastic difference, honestly. So that's what's interesting about when people think we don't homeschool. Like, most of us have no problem in this issue. Maybe that would look different with specific factors, like living out in the country where you have maybe a lot of land and not a lot of neighbors and it's a long time to get anywhere around you. Maybe in those situations, or yeah, there's just various situations maybe, but for the most part, for those of us who are living like suburban or city life, anything like that, not really an issue. How has being a secular homeschooler impacted your homeschooling socialization? Now, this one is an interesting question because we are a faith-based family, but we choose to homeschool secular. And we do that for several reasons, which there's really not a need to get into that in this video. But we have specific goals and ideas and values within schooling that don't necessarily correlate with those who do have religious views. So with that being said, the interesting thing about socializing is often in homeschool communities, you find extreme groups to an extent. So for instance, co-ops. Co-ops are not something we participate in because they're not easy to navigate, because say we go into a faith-based co-op, I have friends that have done that and they have some varying views that oppose the views of the general census of the group, and they have been kicked out or removed from those groups for that reason. And then let's say we go to the other end where it's more secular, and then there it's like, don't even mention anything faith-based. Oh my gosh, it'll be a big deal. I'm having trouble finding like co-op opportunities that exist somewhere in between where we just want to like chill and not care about a lot of those factors that are your personal business, you know? So that would be the biggest challenge, I would say. But also, by the time that I or a friend makes a field trip and we put it out to our friends, we have like a secret calendar that we all can view. By the time we put it out there and people show up, it looks like we're a co-op anyways. Like, we have a whole classroom of kids by the time we do that. So yeah, that's where it's interesting to navigate being specifically a faith-based family and a secular homeschooling family, because it's really hard to find those happy medium communities sometimes. Yeah, that's what I would say. What are your observations about the socialization debate? My observations about the socialization debate is one, unless you have been involved with all the options out there, don't run your mouth about the other options. So for me, I am a public of the product school system. My parents were in the school system. I don't know much about the private school, except for I did at one point live with people who were in private school, and I only heard some of the ins and outs. And then now I homeschool my children. So in that sense, I may say something that I see different in the public versus homeschooling world, but I mind my business a lot of times about other options, because what do I know about them, okay? And the other thing is that I think you really should just mind your business, which I know that sounds quite frank and just blatant, but it's true. Unless you're paying the bills of that house and you are there raising their children, it doesn't really matter what you think about how they choose to homeschool. As long as those children are brought up in a safe environment and are loved, you don't have any need to get involved any further. So in that way, I would say people just need to mind their business and be respectful of everybody's choices and be okay with it. Right? I have family that has been homeschooling for years now, and they just went back to the public system. I have family and friends that will never leave the school system, never want to homeschool. Okay. Then I have friends that want to homeschool forever. Whatever. As long as these families are producing loving homes where there is no signs of abuse, neglect, anything like that, then mind your business and keep chugging along and worry about paying your bills and raising your kids. What do you do to make sure that your kids get social time? So to make sure my kids get social time is, one, it's easy. Okay, we have friends and family. Not that hard. But beyond that, if we're going to go beyond the easy stuff of having those play dates with friends or hanging out with family, and you know, they're in and around the ages that they are. Maybe they're the same age, maybe they're slightly older, slightly younger, it doesn't matter. We also do have some things we do that offer our children to understand, like a sit-down classroom, though that's not my favorite style of children learning or people teaching. It still is a real thing. So what we do is they sign up for courses as extracurriculars outside of my care, where they're in a classroom with a teacher. I'm not there. They're amongst peers within a certain age range, and they're working with them in that setting, in a traditional setting. So that's one way that we make sure we are socializing in a more traditional school way. And then, yeah, it's really just about being intentional about making sure that your children are getting access to other children. And we're not a family that stays home all the time. We are a family that goes out. So in that sense, it's really not a struggle. The kids make friends anywhere, beyond even their own friends. What tips do you have to help calm the fears of fellow homeschoolers about the lack of socialization? Number one is turn off the noise. You need to turn off the noise and focus on your values and your beliefs, and that's what you need to do. There are a lot of Instagram and YouTube and TikTok accounts or whatever, and they show you a highlight reel, okay? What you see on my page is a highlight reel. I'm showing you the best opportunities and the best things we have and all of that. You're not seeing the ins and outs, so don't think it's not perfect. I mean, don't think it's perfect over here, as well as all those other accounts you're seeing where everything looks so perfect, okay? It's not. Quiet the noise, focus on your values, your beliefs, and where you envision your family going with homeschooling. That one wasn't really socialization though, but I got a little off topic, but oh well. Is there anything about your journey relating to socialization that you would change? No. Like I said, this is not a hard situation for us. And the only thing I could say is, yeah, there's not really, I don't regret any of this. We love what we chose, and we have a lot of opportunities to socialize, and it's not a big deal. So I'm very happy with the road we have chosen to take regarding education and how socializing plays into that. What has been the craziest comment you've ever received about socialization? I don't really receive comments about socialization other than the same old saying that other people get. Like I have a dear friend who love her dearly. This did not like turn me off to talking to her as a friend or anything. It's just something I had to overlook that she said. And when I had mentioned, no, you know, like homeschoolers are social too, she said, oh, it's a different kind of socialization. It's not the same as regular school kids. We don't have time to go into my tangent about that, but they could be more wrong. And I don't think they have enough insight into homeschool to have that opinion. but nonetheless, you know, take it with a grain of salt, keep it moving. One time I was told I'm a bad mom for choosing homeschool. That wasn't necessarily pertaining to like socialization. It was just pertaining to my choice in general. And it came from somebody who really doesn't know me and they don't hold any weight in my life. So I don't know, I'm someone that bounces back easily from these kind of things. I don't take it that serious. I'm very confident, and I'm confident in my choices a lot of times, and I don't let comments shake me from that. I stay on path, I stay on course, and I stick to my vision. If you would like to see the other ladies' videos from this specific collaboration, click this video up here on the top. And if you want to see more about my channel, click this video on the bottom, and I'll see you over there. Have fun homeschooling.